Hare Krishna won today or what?
No, I think. Okay, we are live. We are live. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the 400,000 special edition today. What a day it is, and what an amazing show we are going to have today. We have none other than the great Teimour Radjabov. And he's world number 9. He likes to call himself Raja, and he is one of the biggest experts in the King's Indian. And today, it is our great fortune that we are going to learn the King's Indian from him. It's like, if you had to learn, say, backhand in tennis, you're learning it from Federer. Or if you want to learn the smash in badminton, you're learning it from Lee Chong Wei. So basically, it's going to be an amazing, unbelievable session, and I welcome everyone who are there in the chat. In fact, I think what people have loved tremendously for this is the thumbnail. And we are going to get Raja in a second here live, and we are going to ask him what are his thoughts about the thumbnail. So, you see, the idea was that Raja means king, and King's Indian defense. And here he is. He looks exactly like a king, some kind of a Maratha king look, with the turban and all. So it's going to be. That's what was the idea, and that's the thumbnail we made. So now without any further delay, let's welcome the man of the moment, Teimour Radjabov. Hello, hello, Raja. Welcome.
Hello, Sagar. Hello, everyone. Good to see you, and congrats on the 400,000. Yeah, it's hard to imagine. Yeah, such a great figure.
I think if you keep streaming for another month, you would reach there.
No, no, for sure not in the months. No, but it's great. It's great work, of course, because I see that you do a lot of stuff. Like anytime I want to go to sleep, I still see that there is your stream, like early morning my time. So I always join just for the chat, at least for some minutes to see what's going on. And only one thing I wanted to note, Sagar, I'm sorry to note that, is the backhand of Federer. I think is not the best thing because Nadal was always playing for this, for the backhand of Federer.
I should have said
Because probably
forehand. Okay.
forehand, yeah, forehand is good, yeah, forehand is good. But the backhand, it's like if I would show you now the Slav defense, maybe that would be a kind of that would be a kind of backhand training. No,
Well,
guys, everyone, welcome. Thank you very much for watching. I mean, it's pleasure, of course, and it's always exciting because Sagar finds he really works hard and finds all these examples and stuff. That is really amazing. It's nice to see. And last time also we had a great one with Anish and Vidit joining and so on.
yeah, it was one of the best streams. In fact, it reached the highest number of viewers at that point in Chess India. We had around over 3,000 people watching. And today we are going to learn the King's Indian. But first, Raja, your thoughts on the thumbnail. We are going to just show that here. How did you like it? Did you
Yeah, I actually like it. I actually like it very much, and I've posted it on Instagram as well. And I've received a lot of the smiles and different smiles, like these emojis and stuff. And yeah, it's kind of fun, really. I mean, it looks really nice. I mean, the last one was also great with how strong I am and stuff with all
Yeah,
this
with the lifting.
yeah, with weight or whatever you say. Yeah, and was kind of nice. So yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool, and there's kind of touching, yeah, as well, because it's to be okay. Let's call it like one of the best experts in this opening is it's a real pleasure. Yeah, I mean it's really nice.
Yeah, before we head on to the hardcore chess, I want to ask you,
Yeah,
Raja, first of all, a little bit about. I checked the first time that you played the King's Indian Defense was back in
yeah.
2000. I think you were 13 years old, if I'm not wrong, and you played it. What spurred you on to play this opening?
Well, I guess you're right because certainly I think you have checked very carefully the base. I think you know more than the top chess players know about themselves. Sagar knows more than them. And the point is that around around these dates, I think I had a problem with Stonewall. So I was kind of reaching the top grandmasters level and was playing against very strong players, like top players. And somehow I've got a lot of problems with the opening choices. So I mean, I had this Stonewall defense as black, and actually, when somebody would go like knight f3 on the first move, I had to skip it because all the time they were going like knight f3, f5. There was already some g3, d3 lines and e4 immediately. So I couldn't get my Stonewall defense,
Oh,
and I was struggling with
Raja
it.
is already telling me some chess moves, so I need to get the chessboard here.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
you can just put it.
so you were saying that when someone went knight f3, it was already becoming quite difficult for you.
Yeah, the point is that when you get somehow when you get to the top level chess, and I mean your opening choices are kind of scrutinized because everybody's looking carefully what you are doing. Like they're preparing for this. Like they try to target your problems in the opening. And then I've got a lot of them. Like with Stonewall, they were starting to play some lines. They were going knight c3, knight f3, bishop f4 lines. And also this knight f3 that you are showing without playing d4, so I cannot get the structure with d5, e6, f5 comfortably. And the white can go always d3, knight bd2, e4, and stuff like that. So it was kind of tricky for me. And I've decided that I have to play some other opening with my dad at the time. And also Igor Alexander Nataf was a kind of friend of mine. And at some point we started to talk about the opening choices, what can be done, and so on. And we decided that it would be in my style to start this kind of King's Indian games. And we started it with my dad by books, like the old books, all of this Bronstein, 353, and the all the others actually, like Goofel's King's Indian stuff, and so on. And a lot of games, of course. I mean, I was going through a lot of games. But certainly, the world was changing at the time. The computers' engines were there. And it was already not that easy to follow the footsteps of the classics. And I had to really work on it. And the crucial moment at some point, I think, came in this game against Ponomarev that we were actually discussing with you as well. That you have created this list of some games that are possibly kind of interesting for the King's Indian choices that I've made at the time.
Yeah.
And there, it was the game when I have realized that I think I actually switched from Stonewall during that tournament. I also played Stonewall against someone, I think maybe against Loic Van Veli, there in Vaikanzei super tournament. And then I've played this because the line was not ready. I was struggling there. There were problems in the line that I was going at the time in that King's Indian. So we faced something. And then I sent a letter to Igor Alexander Nataf, and he was playing exclusively the King's Indian. And he made a great analysis during the tournament, and I've managed to beat Ponomarev with his ideas.
Wow.
And that was really a crucial moment when I actually started to play it like constantly. Like I really felt that it's my thing. I think maybe before that I was already realizing this game against Ivanchuk that I won in the Grand Prix in Emirates was kind of telling. But certainly I was eager to defend the King's Indian. It was a strange actually way that I was playing. I was playing kind of like French with black against e4. And I was playing the King's Indian. It's not usual thing, The King's Indian players are usually like C5 players, first C5 players. So then it was kind of normal that I've started the Sicilian with C5, the Pelican, and the King's Indian. So that was already the way your repertoire should be on a high level. So it was a Sicilian plus King's Indian. And I mean, e6, first e6 is also kind of, French is also kind of a tactical, sharp opening. But, mixing it up with the King's Indian is not always advised. It's like, mixing antibiotics with alcohol. It's not advisable, Yeah. So it's the same thing. So it's kind of, you either play c5 normally, you wait like a few days after you have finished taking antibiotics and then you do this thing, or you just don't do it at all. So that's the reason. And actually, that the King's Indian is kind of the opening that that is partly strategical and partly tactical. So it's kind of very unusual thing. It's considered on the very top level slightly dubious, and it was considered slightly dubious at the time. Actually, very dubious maybe at the time because everybody was already skipping it, Kasparov and others. So yeah, I think that I've managed to kind of revive it, like to make it come back on a high level, on a top level chess, and for a long, long time. And actually, still now it's played
You
from
know,
time to time. Yeah.
one of your trainers, and in fact the most recent, we spoke with him, Vladimir Chuchelov, and I think according to him, King's Indian is a strategically very risky opening, and yet,
Risky.
yeah, it is right, quite risky. So you don't feel worried, like while playing it with the best in the world.
Um, well, first of all, about the Chuchilov's opinion, I generally agree on that. But the point is that it's a risky opening, so you have to actually be careful about what you are doing there, like cautious about some things, because you can just get smashed in the center, and you will never come back somehow. So it's like, the spawns in the center, like here, for example, what we see on the board. The point of it being kind of dubious is that you give up the center. So you don't fight for the center, more or less. Because if you go for the Grunfeld, let's say, instead of King's Indian, you play d5 immediately, and then it's a fight for the center. But here you give up the center, and you do it immediately. And yeah, this is fighting for the center, d5 stuff. So the point is that giving up the center, like in the opening, is not considered very good. It's already kind of risky. But that's the beauty of this opening, actually, where it comes. It's like it seems dubious and risky and so on, but you get so many tricky ideas, so many things that engines, even nowadays, with this, like all this Leela's, Alpha Zeros, and artificial intelligence, it just can show you that, a lot of times in the practical chess, this human creativity prevails, like even over the engines, because sometimes I'm analyzing it with different engines, nowadays engines, like the most modern ones, like super engines, and they're like, in some positions they're just showing you the best way clearly. You don't need even to check twice, but in King's Indian you always check twice or three times or four times, because they just miss the attack, they just miss the counterplay or something. Or especially, for example, when you have looked some position as white, and it's what I liked about King's Indian always. Let's say you come up with some analysis and you get kind of advantage at home, but then you see it on the board and your king is attacked and every move is unclear because you are without the engine. And then you can smash your opponent because he's without the engine and he's playing the opening. So, I mean, he analyzed it. He's sure he's better. Okay, nice. You are better. Yes, your engine supports this, but what do you do after this move? And the attack goes and goes and goes, and it almost never finishes. You should play like compy, I don't know, for 20 moves or 15 moves or something. And it's impossible for human to do this usually. So that's the trick of this opening. I mean, seriously, there are so many tricky ideas that even engines of nowadays, I mean, they don't understand simply. It's amazing. I'm just amazed by this because I think there is no opening even close to it by these factors. Usually, let's say if you have a kind of stable opening like a Queen's Gambit or something, usually engines see quite far.
Right.
And whatever they show, it's kind of right, you see. And here, I mean, you give up 2 pawns, like, I don't know, one piece, and you just made your opponent. That's the nice thing I liked always.
Okay. So we are going to look at some of your games, but always when someone comes on Chess Base India, we make it slightly challenging for them, and I think
Yeah.
Teimour is always up for a challenge. So what I have done is I have taken 12 of Teimour's amazing games in the King's Indian, all of them his victories against the best players in the world, but he doesn't know who are those opponents. So he has to tell me who his opponent was, which year it was played, and what was the move that he made. Finally,
Oh
it's
my
his
God.
game.
Oh my God.
So Teimour, are you
And
ready?
I'm not sure that I'm ready, but let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, let's start. And I have it here. Okay, so
It's like, Sagar, you know that at some point I just deleted like most of the database that was until the 2014 because some things on top level are just irrelevant. For example, what Anish played in 2000, let's say 14 is not. I mean, not 14. Let's say 2012 is not relevant anymore in
yeah,
terms of preparation
yeah,
because so many things changed since then, right?
true.
And he's playing a completely different opening. and he's a completely different player as well.
Yeah, yeah. But I
So
think the main aim that I want to do from here is not go into opening theory, but to look
yeah,
at
of
some
course.
strategical. I think you played some brilliant strategical ideas in these positions. Some of them tactical, some of them strategical. And so the first position on your screen right now, you are black. Who is your opponent? And do you remember when was it played? Actually, I'm sure it's not easy, but let's see. And what was Black's move?
I
Uh,
don't remember this at all.
Brilliant,
Already, I can tell
brilliant,
you.
brilliant. But this will be. But the move, I think you can figure out from the position, and then you can remember, because this was not a memorable game. It was a blitz game, not a classical game.
Okay, I see, I see.
By the way,
And
Solar Chief Australia, thank you so much for your super chat, and all the guys who are sending in super chats, thank you so much for doing it. Right now, it's time to focus on the chess, so let's continue. Yeah,
I won the game, yeah.
yeah, yeah. You won the game.
Oh, I won the game. How strong I was, you know. Even if sometimes your rating nowadays is, let's say, better than in some moments of your life, but some of the games I recently saw, actually maybe it's a good idea for me to go over my games, because it's sometimes seriously it just inspires you. I mean, which things you could find when you are like technically or officially you are, let's say, less strong at the time, but at the same time you was able to find such kind of ideas that is really hard to to find even now. Yeah, so some
Absolutely.
things.
I'm
So that's why,
I'm one of my aims is also to inspire you, so that you I think you will play the next tournament, you will play the Kings Indian again. So because these are all your
yeah,
wins against the best
I
in
have
the
to go.
world.
Yeah, I have to go through the opening again. Yeah. Well, what is it here?
Anish is in the chat and he says Teimour doesn't remember his own games. Nice awkward start, guys.
No, that's normal. That's normal. I mean, for Anish, it's not normal. For me, it's just fine. It's just the usual thing, And it's like past, It's just actually. I mean, there are some players, like for example, Kasparov. I think even now, if you come to him and ask for his like some of his games, most of the games he will show you just naturally, like all of them. But if you come for, let's say, Karpov, he will not show you, I think, a single game of his.
Yeah.
So it's kind of different with everyone. Yeah. So in Anish's case, I think he remembers everything,
Yes. Yes.
especially his yesterday's games. This I'm sure.
Well,
That's fine.
Raja in roast mode, but okay. Anish has a game today to
I don't know.
play, but it's not
Actually, I know,
so.
but it's fun. So, what did I do here? What did I do? Bishop h3 and d5 would be my first guess nowadays.
Yeah, yeah. The move you played was d5 in this position, absolutely
Yeah.
right. And this was played in
Yeah.
World Blitz Championship 2012, and your opponent was Boris Gelfand.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I lost a similar game to Topolov, I think, and that's why at first I saw that it's my lost game, but in fact it's my won game. Yeah. So
Yeah.
d5 and then knight takes d5, I guess, after c takes d5, right?
Yeah, in the game, what happened was after d5, he took cd, knight d5, knight d5, and now you took back cd, and knight b5, bishop h3, and after this, rook fe1, d takes e4. I think you were already doing pretty well in the position.
But I'm wrong on one thing. In 2012, I think I was kind of doing better than now, because I think I was kind of world number 4 or something, maybe around that time.
Yeah, yeah, you were two
So
seven
it's kind of prime.
2793 at that point. I think that was one of
Okay,
your
yeah,
highest.
yeah.
Okay,
So
so
then it's doesn't count.
let's go to the second one.
Yeah, but d5. Yeah, let's say d5 is a typical thing. Yeah, if you go e takes d4 stuff in King's Indian, it's usual to play the c6 d5 stuff.
Yeah.
There is even a line like this: e takes d5, then rook e8 and c6.
Yes.
So it's kind of usual thing to play d5 here. But certainly the bishop on e3 has to be there. Otherwise, white is going lots of times some bishop f2, rook e1 to protect against all these d5s, and then you are not that comfortable as black, because you can never play d5, and then you get this problem with the pawn on d6. Actually, I had a game with Karyakin. I think in the Russian league. And I was in a great form in general. I just felt like invincible at the time. And so in almost the same kind of position, I just lost my pawn on d6 and was playing like if nothing happened. And at some point I was not, maybe, I don't know, even better, or I mean, just it was just drawish. So sometimes, guys, if you are in super sharp, shape, you just can give even the pawn on d6 and you are still fine in King's Indian, because there are chances everywhere. You just have to believe. I mean, in King's Indian is kind of opening where you always have to believe that something good will happen to you. Otherwise, play something classical.
This is the saying, guys. If you are playing the King's Indian, you have to believe. If you don't believe, then I think Slav or Queen's Gambit Declined is a good opening for you.
Yeah. King's Indian is like for the guys like me and Vidit, the people that believe in like stars, this horoscope signs, star signs, whatever, Scorpios, Pisces, all these things. These guys who kind of believe in non-scientific stuff, you're welcome.
Okay.
Have to play this.
And the next game, Raja, this is, I think, something which you will, of course, remember. This one is, but I will not give you any further hints for now. Black to move here.
Yeah.
Which is your this game?
It was yeah. I know the game already. I hardly remember the move, but did I play for b5 here against Carlsen? Was it?
Absolutely,
In Shamkir, right?
absolutely brilliant. 2014 was the year in which you played this, and sharp, very sharp. Raja remembers his stuff here, and
Actually, this wasn't it wasn't that important, I guess, to play b5, because recently, I mean, there I thought it is, but recently I think I analyzed it for the channel, and there was something else like some bishop f6 or something. You could go here, a rook f7, something like that, and then the position was still good for black or something like this. But b5 is good. B5 is good. Yeah. Anyway, b5 is a good move.
yeah, and
Yeah.
actually, this is one of your wins against Magnus. You've beaten him in other games as well, but to beat him in the King's Indian is such a great feat. Also, it was played at in Azerbaijan in the Shamkir Memorial, so that was very special. I think this win would have been very
Yeah, it
special.
was Kashimov Memorial. Yeah,
Yeah.
in Shamkir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's
Yeah, but this one is right. I mean, guys, this is just clear. I mean, I explained this, I think, in the video and on the channel. Is that the point is that in that position you just have to open up the position for the rooks, and then you get in this one. Yeah, you have to open up the position for the rooks. Otherwise, it's hard to convert your exchange up. Black is exchange up here,
yeah.
and the position is totally blocked. So for him, the point was to go some rook c1, king a2, hide the king there on a2 forever, and just play for some, kind of stabilizing the position. He didn't manage to do this, so after b5, he got problems. All the stuff started. Rook a b8 is coming before, and the b takes c4, and rook b3, like everything is just working for black.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, that was important.
Okay. This is the third one. Basically, this is inspiring you guys. Like how in King's Indian you can beat. So the first one was against Boris Gelfand, a World Championship challenger, 2012. The next one was he beat the world champion himself, Magnus Carlsen. And now this one is black to move. Any ideas? And you came up with a very nice idea here.
I think I would go. Was it? It wasn't Blitz, yeah, or was it?
Yeah, it was Blitz.
So in Blitz, I think I would go even when I'm in case I live to that age, even if I'm 99, I would go h4, knight takes g4 or something, I guess. I mean, that's the usual thing for me. I don't know if it works. It's probably losing, but it doesn't matter.
But you didn't do
Just
that.
go for it.
You didn't do that. You did something
did it, yeah.
very positional, very nice. In fact, I liked it so much.
Wow. Let's see. What did I do here? I think, guys, now it's it's time for what? Let me just see the chat.
Too much chess.
Guys, I think in the normal conditions it would be a nice moment for the fake Raja OP. That would be just normal for our chats, right? Because if you don't remember some of your games, or you just lose a game there online, everybody says fake Raja OP, or I don't know, fake Vidit OP, fake Anish OP, and that's the thing. What did I do here? Yeah, okay, certainly H4, Knight G4, H takes G4, Bishop G4, it would be the first consideration, but usually it doesn't work. I agree. But in Blitz, I saw that maybe I could go for this. In Blitz, maybe I could go for this to play like some H3 threatening. But usually White defends this with like with F3 and stuff, and it's not much.
Yeah. Oops, sorry.
Yeah. So what did I do? Maybe Knight D7, E5 would be a normal way.
Yeah, that's again a
It's
normal way to play. But you did something really nice and interesting here. Um, and I agree that World Blitz tournaments are very difficult to remember because you play 21 opponents. So, and you play every year. So it's not very easy.
yeah.
But the move that you played here was Rook to A6.
H6 and B6. Yeah. It's a Blitz, World Blitz. Yeah, it's World Blitz. It's World Blitz. Not against Aronian, no?
Yeah, Aronian, 2010.
It's Aronian. Yeah, 2010 in Moscow, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Now I've just remembered this Rook A6 stuff, and yeah, actually I won a good game, I think. And by all means, actually the quality was good as well in this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rook
Okay,
B6,
I see.
and actually this is a small weakness, and you hit upon it, and you played a brilliant game. Actually, you won very nicely, and beating Aronian in Blitz. Okay, it was Blitz, but still it was a very nice game.
Yeah, but I would just think for about E4 here for White. What did I want to do? I'm just interested right now. If he goes Rook B6 E4, let's say. I guess I wanted to play some Knight D7 and take somewhere on D4 and B3 and be like a greedy with it or something. But not sure. I mean,
Yeah. But
I don't know. He didn't play E4, right?
No, he
What
didn't
did he
play.
do?
He played actually over here Knight B1, and that allowed you to
Okay.
jump in with the Knight to E4. Knight F.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Knight B1 is very bad.
And then you took.
It's just strategic.
I think Rook takes Knight E4, and later on you manage to, you manage. Actually, you can just have a look at the few moves. Bishop A3.
Yeah, later I just won a good game. I remember that. There is also this game I think in video on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
There is a video. I won a good end game here. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. This one I remember. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I forgot about Rook A6 B6, but probably that wasn't the best way because of this E4. Because I think he played Knight B1, and that was the mistake. So you see, I improved since then.
But Raja, don't you think that even if he goes E4 here, let's say, that would be a good version of Fianchetto's system because you are always looking at this weakness here, or that's not true?
Depends, Sagar, because if he goes for F4 and smashes in the center, I'm not sure I can just pick it up, this pawn on B3, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not that easy to pick it up. Let's say, I don't know, after E4, what is the best move? It's hard to say, actually. Because maybe after E4, there is a problem in it. I don't know. It's really, of course, needs to be analyzed. Probably Knight E4 was even easier than this Rook A6 B6. No, immediately Knight FE4, even without H4. Yeah. Probably this is the way to play Knight FE4. Maybe play like this. But then he can take and play Rook D1. But maybe it's the way. I don't know. But it's hard to say. Seriously, it's like just unclear middle game. Yes, I mean we can analyze. Forever this one.
Yeah. But just this idea, I think viewers can keep in mind that you can always activate your rook from here. Okay.
Yeah. B6 B6 is sometimes possible in this structure.
This is a very famous game of yours, and here you played a sparkling move. Actually, you played a brilliant move in this position. So you are black, and who is your opponent here?
I think it is Topalov in Marelia Linares tournament, but I think it's Topalov in Marelia Linares, and it's around 2007 maybe.
Yeah,
something.
Yeah,
or...
I don't have the year with me somehow because the games I exported, the year has gone, but it's Topalov in Linares. That is true. And your rating was at that point 2700. and Topalov was 2800. So he was very strong
Yeah,
at that point. And you,
and I've started with 0 out of 2
oh really?
in this tournament. Yeah, and then I won 4 games and all the other draws, and I took the second place.
Brilliant. Okay, and so what was the move that you played here?
I think knight h5, no, or something.
Absolutely,
I think
absolutely.
he missed this knight h5 or something like this.
Raja has this style of saying knight h5 something. He knows it. This is the brilliant move over here. If you take with the knight, you lose the rook. If you take on with the rook, then after rook f1, knight takes, you lose the rook here. So everything works perfectly for and I
Yeah,
think
but I think Sagar, he liked very much his position here, and he didn't see at all this knight h5 from far. And he went on this position, and I think he was pressing me on time as usual. He was playing at the time very fast and very like he was super concentrated. I mean, it's one of his best traits, Topalov's, to be like super concentrated. He was like extremely. I have never seen a player of his concentration on the highest level.
really.
Never in my life. Yeah,
Uh,
I've never seen a player of his concentration on the highest level. Just never in my life.
you
Like the one who can concentrate completely on the position, like without any distractions, and not being distracted by anything, and just super concentrated on the game. Like yeah, yeah.
you get this feeling by analyzing with him after the game, or is it during the game you just see him like not moving at all and he's completely focused?
During the game, and also I got more of this feeling when I had a training session with him. He wanted to have like kind of practical training session at the time for his match against Anand, and I was helping him with in terms of like the practical training on some openings and stuff. I mean, we just did maybe 7 days session or something, but I've learned a lot from him actually. Just learned really so much, and he was working like super hard. I've never seen this. Not any player that I've seen in my life was close to him by the like eagerness to fight and eagerness to to find the ideas, to be there. Like all the 6-7 hours whatever we worked were like, I don't know, it was like extreme pressure, like concentration, like if we were on a tournament. It's like it was amazing. I was amazed by this.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
would be like working
and and
crazily.
and what
I've
would
never
you
seen
be?
this in my life.
You would be something like around 2010, so you would be 22 years old at that point, and I think that would have made a big
Yeah,
impression.
27 something, 40, 27, 40 or something, I guess.
No, yeah, I mean 22 years
So,
old. So you were young, and I think that made a big impression on you as a player. Yeah, like, I mean,
yeah.
of course you were very strong at that point, but you got an insight into the World Championship preparation and that.
Yeah, I think after that session, I've made like actually good results. I made some good results just after that. I remember I just changed my entire perspective. Like how I saw chess somehow.
Yeah,
It wasn't something that he said to me. It wasn't this. It was just this kind of um, like emotional involvement into the process of everything, of the moves, of the ideas, of the excitement about them, of the schedule, super strict that he had. And at the time, of course, he knew that he's playing like at the time kind of best player in the world against Anand, and he has to prepare in the best possible way. And so he was keeping the super schedule all the time, and like it was impossible simply to even tell him that man, maybe we have to do this or that. He just had his super strict schedule, and I think it also influenced me somehow at the time, and showed me that the best player in the world at the time, him and Anand, they're just working differently,
yeah, yeah.
like compared to all of us. Yeah. So
Actually,
that was
I
that was
think
a
Anish on the other hand went to see Anand in the same World Championship to just work with him or something. It was a very small, like a day or two, and he said the same thing. Like it made an impression on him in such a way that it helped him to understand what. So I think always it's a good idea to check out these players, how they are working on. It can be very useful.
I was impressed. He could take bad engine, just bad engine. Like, of course, the one that will beat probably even any player in the world right now. But in general, he just would take like some, I don't know, at the time what was available. I don't remember exactly. It's like Stockfish something. And he would just try to mate him, like fiercely trying to mate him, make his ideas work. And like, that was amazing to see. Just, yeah, now we improved a lot since then, let's be fair. Now our preparation on the high level is just maybe few times stronger than this. But the concentration, like the way that he could concentrate on the game, I don't see any player up to now that was able to concentrate this way. Maybe Ivanchuk in his prime. Maybe Kasparov in his prime. I don't know. But this, probably Kasparov in his prime as well. But this was something amazing. Yeah, it just impressed me so much. I mean, certainly we can talk about greats. Fischer was for sure like this, like concentrating super hard, or maybe all these champions in their prime. But I think at the time when Anand beat him, he was in super shape. Topalov was in super shape. So this really, the big credit goes to Anand for beating him in this match, because it was close to impossible.
Yeah, yeah. Also, it was in Bulgaria,
Close.
and there was all this drama at the start where there was a volcanic eruption, and he had to travel by car. So it was, of course, a great, great victory for Anand. But just on the topic of concentration, if we could, is there a specific way in which these top players concentrate, or it's just natural? They are just they have the willpower to win, and so they concentrate hard, or is it because they do some techniques like Vidit said at some point he does some meditation and stuff like this?
I think for some of the players, it just comes by nature. They are able to concentrate. I think all of the top players, in general, they concentrate quite well while they're playing the games, And let's be fair, everyone on the high level, when they're in their prime, and we're talking about the prime in terms of concentration in this case, because otherwise, of course, anyone can be in a bad shape. Yeah, that's clear.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about the prime, then everyone concentrates very well on the top level. But Topalov's concentration was something, because, for example, for some players like Vichy, he's concentrated, but at the same time, you see he's concentrated, but if you say something funny to him, you're sure he will reply to you and he will laugh with you at this moment. So he would be like super polite, and he has a great sense of humor, and he would be happy to joke with you. You see what I mean? Like if something, I don't know, unexpectedly like falls down in the room where you're, like what is it called? Like where we relax the players. Yeah, just some room that we have usually on the super tournaments, let's say, and where we take tea or something will happen there, or some joke will be there. He will be ready to joke with you, as well as, I don't know, Svidler, or sometimes Sasha Grishuk, for example. And that would be just normal. But for Topi, it would always be like there is some, not recently, but when he was in his prime, it was like always kind of it was kind of battle, it was like kind of war. It was a war. So he was at war. So he was there, and he was concentrating on the game. He would forget everything, all the rest, all his life and everything. Just who is he? What is the name? Doesn't matter. Just the moves, and just like super. It amazed me, really. I was already a top player, kind of. So it just amazed me, and this thing doesn't come many times in your life, I guess.
Brilliant.
I think that maybe Kasparov was kind of like this. For sure, Fischer was like this. But at the same time, you have to say that there are different ways to approach chess, right? There are some ways, like for example, Carlsen, he can easily make a joke when he's let's say in this waiting room, or whatever you call it. I don't know what is the word for this.
Yeah.
The room where the players relax there, the players area, let's call it. Yeah, and he can always joke, can say something or joke on something and have fun. He's also concentrated very much, but at the same time he can do this. But Topi, no, and Kasparov was also not not the one who will joke, in the players area. He could say that you shouldn't, walk here. You better walk there, and you don't step. That there was kind of lanes in Linares when we were playing, and you would have kind of carpet so that nobody, hears your like steps, yeah. And he could say like, please don't walk on this, just walk on the carpet because I can hear it and stuff. So it can affect my concentration and things like this. This he could say, but not good things, no jokes, nothing at all, of course. And yeah, that's really okay. Sorry, I'm just I'm
No,
going straight with my presidential speech,
this
as it's
is
called now on the chat all the time.
this is some brilliant insights, actually. In fact, it's so difficult to get some things, these insights into the world's top players, and we are very grateful that you are sharing them with us. And now moving
Thank
to the
you.
fifth position here. This one is you black, and this is your win against, again, a strong player. You're black, and you played a very good move here to finish him off. Actually, it's maybe still complicated, but you finished off the game very well.
I don't recognize this at all, Sagar. It's like it's like if I reincarnated. Yeah, just don't remember this. It's like a new player there, new player. So I have no idea. Is it Blitz again or?
No, no, this is a classical game. It's okay. I'll tell you the tournament name. It's European Club Cup. I think European Cup. Uh, I don't have the year here, but yeah.
Wow, seriously?
And it's a world class player, of course.
Oh my God. Is it against Ivanchuk or who
Absolutely,
else can it be?
absolutely. Ivanchuk,
And
Ivanchuk.
European Club Cup, where I played the King's Indian with Queen B6 or something.
Yeah, I think it was in Kemar, a place called Kemar.
Yeah. It's where actually I had this. I remember a lot of stuff about this, but don't exactly remember the moves here. But about the tournament, it was in this Khmer, and it was funny because it was the first and maybe the last time that somebody who played in this tournament 7 rounds, he played 5 games as black out of 7.
And
And you understand because as a chess player, you understand well what it is. Yeah, it's like almost impossible to get out of 7 games 5 with black. Something unusual should happen in the pairings. And actually, it was kind of like one or the only time or something like that in this European Club Cups that somebody would get this. And it happened to me. So I was kind of crazy. I was already playing 4 games against 2 as black. And then it's not the point that I don't like to play as black, right? It's just the fact that, I mean, it's a huge pressure all the time, and at least you think that maybe with white you can get some slight advantage and press the opponent. And then you get this, and you get Ivanchuk, and you have to play against Ivanchuk, and you are black again, and it's like, oh my God. And then I decided I will go to the game, I will do something. And then I played the King's Indian in G3 line. I went the C6, Queen B6,
yeah,
and he was shocked. He was shocked. He was like, I mean, he was like, just confused by this for sure. And we just played some strange opening, and I just decided to close all the, with the spawns, all that stuff.
just to
That was
show
kind of
the viewers what the opening was, because I think Raja played a very interesting line here, which is Queen B6 and then Bishop
yeah.
G4, and then he took on F3, which looks very dangerous, but yeah, it I think you are playing with your opponent, not particularly the position. You are like, what would be the most
Yeah, but you know that when you, for example, play Ivanchuk, it was always kind of I don't know how to explain. He's close to the title of genius. Let's be fair. I mean, he's close to it, and in some of his prime games, I think Kasparov or someone of the very out of the champions and so on, they actually kind of said that he's a genius and he could be a world champion in his prime. Yeah, because imagine he was when he was in his prime, he had to beat Gary, he had to beat Anand, he had to beat these players, right, Kramnik, and maybe if we shift times a bit and we take him into his prime in some of these years. maybe before them, or I don't know, after them in some years. At some point, I think after them, at some point he was world number one
Yeah, yeah,
for some
yeah.
time, I think,
He was
for some
there.
games.
Yes, there was a period actually within a
Yeah,
month. There were 5 players who shifted world number one rankings somewhere in 2010. So there was
yeah.
Ivanchuk, Anand, Topalov, Carlsen, and one more player. I don't recollect, but yeah, they all shifted. So Ivanchuk was world number one for some time.
Yeah, so that's why I mean, facing him all the time was kind of different. One time I would get a great position, another time he would smash me with whatever color. The other time I would win like a few games against him, and then he would smash me with some amazing game, like if you would be an engine, you know. And it was always shaky. When sometimes he's in shape, or I'm. There were different times. Sometimes I think we were both in shape, and these games were like just crazy. And in some games we were both out of shape, and they were not crazy at all, but they were just funny, but interesting and exciting for the public, but not that exciting for us because we were like committing mistakes a lot. And we had a lot of Armageddons, blitzes, I mean rapids, like I don't know how many games. Actually, it's nice to check next time. Maybe I'll check just for myself, and we'll also do it on the channel, like against the top players, how many games we played against Ivanchuk, how many games I played against Anand. I'm just curious to know in general how many games we played, because when I look back, in years, it feels like half of my life I've spent with them. You know, seriously. I mean, I just look back and I think, okay, Anand. Last time I was actually on the stream, I was talking something
76.
about Anand.
76 times you have played Ivanchuk.
76, 76 against Ivan and against Anand, just for fun, just interesting to know.
My God, 76. That's sometimes you would be, bored to play against the same guys.
Yeah, but Sagar, also don't forget that if it would happen, I mean, we would be the kind of players of top level, yeah? And if it would happen nowadays, we would play more than 76.
Yeah.
It would be 760, I think, because there are online rapids, blitz, all this stuff. There are much more tournaments, and they're going more and more often. I mean, when there was OTB, of course, when
Yeah.
there was OTB, right? Yeah, and so against Anand, I think a lot as well. I don't know, not that many, I guess, but many.
Yeah, 43 games against Anand.
Okay, yeah, but it's like I mean, so many of them are classical games,
Yes.
I think. So yeah, so it's a lot of games, a lot of games.
So
And okay, yeah, it's as a rookie tour, Queen 7, right, in general.
yeah, you played Queen E7 with the idea
Queen
of
7.
coming in, and you
Yeah,
basically managed to
but
win.
that's natural. That's natural.
Yeah, you won the game very nicely here. Okay, going on, moving
But
on.
this one, Sagar, is not typical for the King's Indian. This one,
Yeah. No, the
this one is
position
not
was
typical.
was not typical, and now we come to an opening idea. Actually, people can learn some of the opening concepts from this position. Your opponent here went for the move G5. By the way, Anish was in the chat just a minute ago, and he said Raja is talking about different things so that he can solve less positions that is set up that is prepared for him.
It's very unfair, Anish, because my streams last about 6 hours. So in general, I do whatever there. I mean, anything you wish there. There can be even time for scribble if somebody comes, I'm sure. So it's like I never skip this because I do too much. So that's why it's never a problem.
Yeah. So
No, but yeah, of course he's joking. Of course, I mean that's normal. Yeah, that's good. So here, what did I do? Was it against the Kashgalev? No.
no, this is again all top guys. Yeah, like world class players, and this is you are playing black, and this actually reminds us of a famous game of Fischer versus Spassky versus Fischer from his world championship match.
But I had this kind against Kashgalev as well. I think in World Cup, World Cup in Khanty-Mansiysk at some point, 2005 or something like this.
Mm.
One of the games he played this bishop e2 g4 line. I guess I went at knight h5 here.
Absolutely.
I guess I went at h5.
Yeah, knight
But
h5.
that
And is it okay to give up a pawn like this? I mean, There are sometimes you give up a pawn. What do you get in return?
Yes, now yeah. Now I will tell you the great insight is that I was playing for the entire life the King's Indian, and I always had this idea that in one of the lines, like knight h5, a5 lines in bayonet attack, it will be hard to put it now. It doesn't matter. So in the Nations Cup, I just decided because anyway it's online tournament and we can have fun and stuff. I decided to play knight h5 line that I always thought what is the best way for white to play against us, and I decided to give it a try against Anand. And I think it's the last time in my life that I give this kind of try, because first of all, not the best person to try it with. I mean, he grabs the pawn and controls the game, and he controlled it very well. For the rapid game, he controlled it very well. Of course, from the engine's point of view, I mean, I could even defend and so on. But in fact, no. I mean, I just decided to play this sacrifice, and it didn't work at all. I mean, just not even close to what I expected. I just had to defend the whole game, even though in King's Indian you are supposed to play for some kind of counterplay. But here probably is justified because there is some rook e8, it takes d5, and b5 is coming, and this is knight d7, e5, and so on. So in this case, when the pawn is far on g5 and king is still in the center, it can be justified. Because don't forget that white also went g4, g5, which is, with the king in the center,
Yeah.
which really contradicts a lot of classical rules. So for this, we were discussing actually this yesterday as well. I mean, there is a dynamical factors, there are strategical factors as well. Here, I mean, the pawn is, white is a pawn up, and black has a lot of, two bishops, so the bishop pair, and the king is in the center, and if they act fast, they have good chances to really get a lot of counterplay. So I guess some kind of knight d7, e5, or rook e8 and all that stuff is maybe takes d5 somewhere.
Yeah, you
It's just
played rook e8 and knight g2 and ed5, and this was your game against Mamed Yaro, and you won this game with black. It was a blitz tournament.
okay. So yeah.
By the way, before we go to the next position, Raja, just from the opening perspective, like if someone wants to begin playing the King's Indian and they know this first three moves for black, what are the different possibilities that they should focus upon seriously? What are the lines which are very important for them, according to you? And what should they do?
I think they should certainly start with. I think they should certainly start with Zemish, I guess, because it's really exciting, and they have to understand what they are doing. Otherwise, they will be just destroyed all the time. That's the problem. And here, for example, most of the players, when they start the King's Indian, they go for castle short and e5. And and then d5, and this lines for the King's Indian type of player is they're quite hard, because here exactly with this pawn on f3, white is going fast for g4, h4, and they're usually able to block the king's flank, and somehow it's important because they have kind of advantage on the queen's flank. So if they, I mean, this is the way to play the King's Indian. You undermine the center, and then you go for the f5 break, more or less. This is the usual thing. Because, for example, my dad, for a long time, he was very upset that against Zemish, I have to play c5 lines. Because he was saying, I didn't teach you this. You have to play the King's Indian with the pawn on e5. And so he was, for a very long time, he was upset that I'm going the c5 line. And when I would lose the game there, he would say, yes, because you are not playing the pure King's Indian. You are betraying it. You are playing with c5 and stuff. And till the moment when I started to win games there and just prove that c5 is the way in general in these lines, he was sure that e5 should be played. E5 is also a big line. There are ideas, different type of ideas, of course, but generally against Zemish, many players get confused in this type of structure, because d5, g4, queen d2, h4, white is smashing on the king's flank, and then they start to just roll with their pawns, c5, b4, and stuff on the king's flank, on the queen's flank. And this is kind of hard line. So this is the one you should really study how to play. Usually with c5, you should go if you want to be.
Is to play c5, and I guess this pawn sacrifice line is fine for black. So you can study this with the black pieces. It works out okay.
It's actually very interesting, but the current series says that it's fine for black.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
And not in one way, as far as I remember, not in one way. So c5 is the best. e5 you can also study because there are many tricky games there, funny games there as well, like for the general understanding of the King's Indian. And in this one you can take the old classics, I think, just to see the lines and to see if you just kind of like it or not, just by nature. Because some players can play e5 here, and on the club level they can do very well with black as well. You know, it's not. It's just the case on the high level that this e5 is just worse a bit. I mean, by the theory.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't recommend it to put it like a repertoire. If somebody like the club player, for example, is learning and he wants to have it as a repertoire, then he should know that c5 is the best. But otherwise, e5 is also playable. I mean, there are ideas here, but with the right play, I mean, white is usually on top there. So this one, and I think the classical one with knight f3, bishop e2. You should just generally know what you are doing against this.
Yeah.
This is just important to know what you are doing, because you can't just play hands in pocket. You know, this King's Indian. It's not the opening. If you want to play the openings like, you know, hands in pocket more or less, what we called it for a long time with Nataf, let's say.
What does hands in pocket mean? Means you're not showing your
hands in
card.
pocket, you know, it's like
You're not showing
yeah,
your
yeah,
cards.
it's no. It's like, you know, when you are hands in pocket is Nataf was calling the situation is like, you know, sometimes like for example you wear good clothes and you go on the street and you put your hands in pocket, you have like the sunglasses and you feel like invincible, like I don't know, James Bond or someone, and your hands are like in pockets. And always he was calling this kind of openings like you want to play the line like hands in pocket, like James Bond, you know, outside in a great you know, in a great clothes and like super confident about himself. Then not to get mated, not to get into trouble, you should play kind of lines like I don't know, like maybe Queen's Gambit, maybe it's one of them, and maybe Slav, probably, or some other lines. Probably Queen's Gambit is the most classical, but once again, it's a different story. Yeah? It depends on your character traits. For the club level, certainly I would recommend to play King's Indian because it's a nice opening. If you master it, not too many players know what they are doing as white, even nowadays, even on the top level. Whatever they tell you, that, oh, this is dubious, I know 5 ways how to destroy it, and they give nice interviews and they say that everywhere is bad for black and so on. Let's be fair, that if they start to play and they play on their own and they forget one line, or you do one move that you have prepared well with black, and it's not the case. Seriously, it's just a very, very unclear opening, and actually I will think of looking at it back again and seeing maybe I can just also revive it theoretically, you know, like theoretical wise, like, you know, I know how to call it, but I mean officially it's slightly worse, and you can be checked in many lines. That's what many of the players they don't like, because you can be checked in many lines. That's the problem, because in some openings that you know why? Because, for example, if you are playing the Najdorf, if you are playing some other sharp opening, Dragon, maybe Dragon is a good opening, maybe everything is okay, but it's so hard to memorize everything there, that on the top level you don't go there, just not to, you know, not to be like not to depend on this lines that you have to memorize. You want to play a bit more. I mean, you know that you have some abilities, like practical abilities, and you can practical skills, and you can play a good game in general. So why to put you in a position where one mistake will lead you to a completely lost situation? Because anything just can happen very fast.
Exactly.
So that's why on the high level, most of the top players, they decide to play the classical openings, because they make some inaccuracy, they make one more inaccuracy, and it's still playable. In King's Indian, you make one inaccuracy, probably you are lost in some cases against the top player.
Absolutely.
So you are just lost. Yeah, that's the point. That's the main point. It's not that the opening is just bad or something. It's just because it's very hard to control. It's like, you know, it's like you know, like this Khaleesi in the Khaleesi in Game of Thrones.
Yes, of course.
Let's say she would unleash the you know, the dragons, and she would not be able fast to control them, and then she would have to jump like and then try to control them. They would just be like super powerful. And King's Indian is like this. You just don't control it sometimes. Things just go Yeah,
What
just
what
go
what
in a
a what
different
a
ways at the same time.
fine analogy. That's a great analogy to think of it
And
that way.
the Sagar, important thing is that at the same time you do not control it, but you always have a chance. When I mean, you always have a chance. If you come back in the game, let's say, I mean, you do the inaccuracy, you are in a bad position, there is still a chance. There will be some attack on the king that is possible, some trick. It will be always kind of unclear, so you can always strike back. I had a lot of games where I was like minus whatever 1 or 2 or something in the lines, but by the engine. And when you look at the position, you say, what? How do you win here? No. I guess it's unclear. You just look at the position, it's unclear. But in fact, it's just lost by the engine. So things like this are happening here. I don't know any other opening like this. Not, I really. I mean, just seriously. Like, let's be fair. You know that I love the King's Indian,
Yeah.
but let's be fair. What is the other opening like this against D4,
Yeah, against
where you
D4,
can have
none.
so many things?
I mean, you can
Yeah,
think
I think
of Dutch as something, but Dutch is not as. I mean, it's more unsound, yeah, like than King's Indian. Even worse. Perhaps a comparable opening could be Sveshnikov with black against E4, but I don't know. That seems the
um
computers like that opening somehow.
maybe Najdorf, or maybe Dragon,
Hmm.
maybe
Hmm.
something like this. But yeah, I think some of them. But Dutch is like um, Dutch is not bad. I guess it's not bad. I think it wasn't proven bad at least. And Dutch is interesting opening as well. So if you are, for example, I guess it would actually kind of suit my style in general to play the Dutch, let's
Yeah, I
say,
agree.
because you still have the bishop on G7. It's kind of a mix between Stonewall and the King's Indian, and it's an interesting opening. Yeah, it's an interesting opening as well. And yeah, you are right. I think maybe Dutch is kind of King's Indian, but certainly I think strategically King's Indian is better as an
Yeah.
opening. I think King's Indian is more sound. But Dutch wasn't ever scrutinized like King's Indian. You know, it was never played on a high level for a long time. It was 1 or 2 games that spontaneously Carlsen would do or something, or some other guy when he needed a win. But it's not the thing that everybody played. If I would play for a long time the Dutch, I think the theory would develop a lot there. They would try to smash me on the high level, and it would be a different story.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah.
point.
Well, in this position, what we are discussing, if we went, let's say, for the classical system here, there's just a lot of theory. So everyone has to kind of study that. Maybe look at games of some great players here. Maybe your games in this, and it could be a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this one is necessary. Um, in this, I've won and lost countless of games. This was the case. But at some point, I think I mastered it to the level that when I had to make a draw, I was playing this and I was still drawing. And actually, you know, I had a situation. I was playing the Grand Prix in Elista, and Grishuk was playing against me. And in case of draw, I would be the first. I would be first in the tournament. I would win the tournament. And you know, nowadays, for example, you can play some classical stuff and try to defend and so on. But my main opening was King's Indian. So can you imagine you have to make a draw, but your main opening is King's Indian? And so you go to the game, and I had to go over all of the lines in this bayonet. This is called like before, when they go before here. It's a bayonet system, is the main system in this line, together with 91 and 92 and all that stuff. And but I was so confident in my lines that I drew the game just so confidently, because I was just looking at this all day long as black against d4.
Okay.
And I just really played a good game, I think, like theoretically good one, like by the theory, all was proven good. So yeah, this is a very big line, guys. 91 you should know for sure. Otherwise, you will lose all of your games otherwise, if you don't know what to do against 91. Because the plan for white is easy. They go f3, knight d3 or bishop e3, and then c5. And you are just lost on the queen's flank. So if you don't do things right, like knight d7, f5, f4, g5, then rook f6, then you know all the stuff. How do you, I mean, either rook f6 or not rook f6 or knight g6. There are many different lines there. depending on what white does as well. And yeah, knight d3, and there are now thousands of games, like different type of games. You can go rook f6 h6, then queen a8 h5, trying to make white, or you can play with h5 and this other lines was playing for g4, and wow, it's so huge. This one is really huge, and this one you should certainly know. This is actually the must. This is probably this I would suggest as the first thing,
Okay.
because many players on the club level, I think they know the plan. They know immediately like 10, 12 moves. They like it as white. They bring the knight to d3, c5, and things like this. But look, a lot of games of me here, of Nakamura, of I guess Wesley So, and the other King's Indian players, recent ones, and you can check it out. And there are many good games here. So this is tricky. This is a tricky thing. You have to know it. Otherwise, c5, c takes d6, knight b5, rook c1, and good luck. It will be not the King's Indian. It will be just 10 pawns down and 5 pieces down as well. So you just will not be able to bring any piece into the attack. So you have to know it seriously. This is important.
So and what would you recommend here? It's like studying games would be the best way. Yeah, like studying some of the games to get an idea. That would be the best.
I think that if you as we're talking about now, so there is no point to go in Theory 53 or some other book, because it's an irrelevant theory. That's when you can study for general understanding, because by pure understanding and by explaining the ideas, I think Bronstein did a great job there. It's maybe the best book ever in general, but beside that, it's a just like you can read it not only like the chess book or the professional book on the King's Indian or other openings. Yeah, it's kind of like a fiction book. It's like explaining things in a different way. It's not just pure lines and this after that and that after this, and when nobody understands what's going on. But it's like just the guy explains there everything in a manner like if you are reading something nice, like I don't know, some nice book. You're just reading it and you're happy. You have this evening with this book and you are reading the ideas, and this happened. Especially he explained that after the games this happened, the one player went there, did this and that, and explained some kind of stories as well beside that. And then he goes to the game, and Bronstein, I think, is the best, maybe the best in the world ever to explain the chess games.
Okay.
It was kind of, I don't know, everything. Like it was just a fiction, I don't know, whatever. It was non-fiction as well when it was needed. I think the best. Bronstein books, I think you will love the game. Generally, you will love chess, I think, after reading Bronstein games more and more.
So
and
the book
beside
that
King's Indian.
Raja is recommending is I think Zurich Interzonal 1953, and it's Zurich candidates, right? That was a candidates tournament.
Yes, I think it's candidates. Yeah,
Candidates,
sure.
Zurich Candidates 1953, and it's written by Bronstein, and it's a beautiful book. So please do check it out.
If there is a good translation to English, but I guess there is.
Yes,
there is, because it was an important. Yeah. So then it's just outstanding.
Raja, there is one thing which I've always seen, that when King's Indian players play, the biggest problem they face is against the fianchetto system, because they are aggressive, and fianchetto players are very positional, like maybe Vidit plays this with white many times, and somehow it becomes very difficult to crack this system.
Mm-hmm. Well, now it's now it's about this King's Indian stuff, because, for example, most of the players, actually including me as well, we do c6 d5 against this, right? Like the game I've analyzed was c6 d5 as well. But yeah.
Okay, got it. This is much more safe, but not in the spirit, of the King's Indian.
Not in the spirit. No, I was kind of struggling to go for this, because it's a different story. It's another thing.
Yeah.
It's not the pure King's Indian. Yeah. If you want to play the pure King's Indian, so you have to go for d6, and if I remember correctly, now knight bd7 and d5 is not that bad. It's not doing that bad recently. Knight bd7 and d5. Yeah, I think in this case, I guess it's better to look at the correspondence games. I guess they advance quite far in this type of positions, and I think that they're finding a nice ways to keep this type of positions. At the same time, there are players who go with knight c6 instead of knight bd7, and I think it's also not that bad. The knight c6 without knight bd7. So this one, knight c6 is also not that bad. I think Ding Liren liked it for Ding Liren, sorry. Ding Liren. For a long time, he liked this line as well. So there are this e5 here, or there is bishop f5. Is it here or not? No, a6, I think first. a6 first. No, not bishop f5. I think a6 first. There you go. This one you can study because this is in the spirit. This is in the spirit of King's Indian. Yeah. And this is an important line, and this is a real King's Indian. Let's be fair. This is the real King's Indian. The rest, there are two. Okay, the real King's Indian, original King's Indian, like the one that you get from the shop, the original King's Indian, is knight bd7 and e5. Knight bd7 and e5. Let's be fair. On this, you can see classics as well of Bronstein. Actually, I think in Zurich 53 he explains it amazingly. But beside that, just read Bronstein's stuff on the King's Indian. If you want to love the opening, I think he's the person to which, I can be grateful for loving the opening.
Okay.
When I was a kid.
Got it. So Bronstein is the person who kind of gave you a lot of love and insights into King's Indian. Anyone else apart from Bronstein who you think can instill the love?
Let's see. Gufeld, I think. I think Najdorf, let's be fair, as well. Who else? Of course, you can talk about Kasparov and Fischer because in their prime they were playing as well this opening. So certainly they influenced it a lot. But in terms of games, in terms of understanding and the explanation of the ideas and the nice way of giving it, I call it edible way. I don't know why I call it edible way, but it's like, they give it in this edible version. You understand the way. He was a top player. He actually, let's be fair, he's well, I would call him a world champion, Bronstein. He had this 12-12 score against Botvinnik, yeah. But he was kind of a world champion, He was maybe, not a worse player for sure than Avi, let's say. And he was deservedly like the best player of the world at the time, and close to it at least. And he deserved this title. I think he deserved this title. It's a rare thing to say about anyone who deserved it, but I think he did. I think he's a co-world. At least he's a co-world champion. He's a co-world champion. So he would beat Botvinnik, and it was very close at the time. If you remember, he had a draw in the match, clearly had a great position and so on, and then he didn't find this endgame draw and so on. But he explains it as if he's your friend in the club, and he really cares of what you think about it. And he just loved the game. I don't know. He just loved the game so much. There are some games, some books of his, I think, David against Goliath or something, and where he explains the way the engine thinks and what he wants to do against the engine, and he explains in a manner of some kind of Disney movie or some kind of stuff like that, and it's just such a fun to read, and it's so nice. You just get such a great impression of that person. I think that, guys, yeah, seriously, just look at Bronstein, find all the possible books that are translated in English of his. And not only the King's Indian, but King's Indian you will love more and more. Actually, now talking about this, I feel that, especially on these times, the quarantine times and so on, I would be happy to go through some of his books again, just to really remember all this stuff. So nice emotions that they give you, so positive. And yeah, I really suggest it. Yeah.
Brilliant. Cool. So I think what Raja normally has suggested is that three lines are very important. One is the Zamish with the F3 over here, which you should definitely have a look at. And the next one is the classical line with knight F3. So here the move F3, then knight F3, and there's also the fianchetto system with G3 you should look at. And yeah, I think these three is important. Of course, there are 4-pawn attack. I think there's also the Auerbach system with bishop e2, bishop g5. But I think a good way. Raja, would you recommend someone to look at your games and to learn this opening.
But that would be kind of strange, right? That would be kind of strange. So, Sagar, there are interesting things that they're saying in the chat. One guy said, Raja, you can't teach chess, do comedy only. And the other one says, actually the interesting thing about the books that you should read. He mentions, what about Bologan's book, Katronia's book, and some Kid Warfare by Smirnov? I don't know what is Kid Warfare by Smirnov. I never read this. And Bologan is a good person and generally the proponent of the King's Indian. But just to tell you the truth, I didn't read that book, so I can't really give any feedback. So I guess it's good because I mean he played the King's Indian for the entire life, so he knows a lot of stuff there. So probably it's good. But if we are talking about the theoretical part, so maybe try Catronius as well.
But
yeah, Catronius is very
they
good
are
in
very
theory.
big books. Like there are a lot of pages, and I think it's not easy. But I think those who want to learn King's Indian should have a look at it.
Yeah, but that's not the problem, guys. Because, for example, imagine you are 20 now. At 50, you will be able to play the opening. What's the problem? Just that's fine. That's fine. You will start at 20 years old. You will finish at 50. One of the first Catronius book, now, part 1. And sometimes you will learn. What's the problem?
By the way, the Kid Warfare book is written by Ilya Smirin, not Smirnov. It's by...
Smirin. Yeah, Smirin is a good King's Indian player. He's a very good King's Indian player. I cannot talk about the books that I didn't read.
Yeah.
So that's why it's hard to say. I don't know, but I guess it should be not bad, good or whatever. But I never read them, so I can't say. But if you want to find this kind of, as I said, like kind of a fictional one and both learning and fictional in a nice way manner, because I'm sure you don't want to study like, for example, Sagar is right, because, for example, Catronia's book is like, it will never end it. You will never end it, you know. You will find some lines, for example, that you want to know, let's say in this 91 line or Zemish, and look what he suggests. Then it will be fine. But if you start to go over the lines, you would just be, I don't know, if you have time, if you have like 16 hours a day and 20 years, then fine. But otherwise, I don't suggest to really go over all the lines, because you also should have kind of intuition in this opening. You have to first learn it and then try to play it, practice it, and then get better in it.
Okay.
It's the opening where you have to feel when you go knight e8, when you go knight h5, when you go for f5 3x, when you start to attack on the queen's flank. It's the thing that you should learn with practice as well. So you study the books, nice ones, and then you do this, and then you see theory. So if you lose there, but just only thing I suggest is that you don't end it up. You know, if you lose like 10 games in a row in the King's Indian, you shouldn't give it up. Yeah, immediately. Yeah. First, try to really get better at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you
that's very important.
First time I interviewed you in the World Cup 2017, this is exactly what you had said. You should never give up. Even if you lose, you should come back, you should analyze and try to find new ideas. And I think this is one important advice to all the youngsters, that many times just one loss doesn't mean that you have to give up the opening. Yeah, Raja, do you also feel so?
Well, you know, Sagar, sorry, I was reading actually the chat. Can you just repeat the last one? Sorry, just was reading.
Sometimes you lose a game, and many times people just give up that opening. They are like, no, I don't like it anymore. I think that's not the right approach.
Yeah, but that's what I said, right? Yeah, Sagar, that's what I said. Yeah, I mean, in general, in chess, it's like this. You know, you come to the club, you want to learn the game, and you start to play. At first, you lose usually. It doesn't. I mean, you play a bit better player than you, and you learn by losing, by your mistakes. So it really matters, yeah, how you approach your mistakes. Some people just give up the game, just give up the sink, and they never want to learn. And that's a mistake, of course, in chess. In chess, it's really a game where you have to learn. You have to really learn on your mistakes. It's very important as well. It's very hard to just read the book and understand, okay, this is a mistake, I will never repeat it. You will repeat the other mistakes, and they're always happening. So on your mistakes, you learn faster, I think, in chess, for sure. And that's why in the King's Indian is the same, because the opening of this type, where you give up the center, you give the initiative to white immediately, you have to master it. Otherwise, it's not a weapon. It's a kind of way that you play it. should be, by the feeling and seeking counterplay all the time.
Yeah.
This should be a motto. You should seek counterplay all the time. If you seem to be smashed by the pawn chain there, like d5, c5, it's not the end. It just started. So this you have to understand, because for some people who sees this pawn coming, rolling c5, rook c1, knight b5, and so on, come on. I mean, if you feel that you can't really play against this mass coming, then it's another story. But I feel that when you are kind of mastering it, you can feel this knight g4 moments, knight h5, f5, all the stuff, and you understand when you should do that. Then you get much better in the King's Indian, and then you start to understand all the beauty of it, and then you get to really play it well. Yes, but it doesn't come by just doing nothing. Yeah, you just have to learn it and not be afraid to lose at all.
So basically that's a very important advice. And Raja, we have last few minutes, like last 6-7 minutes left, so I want to do a couple of things with you. First of all, I want to ask you about two players who actually are considered as the biggest King's Indian slayers in the time. Like they have beaten King's Indian many times. And the second thing is to just show one more position from your game, because it's really a beautiful one. So the two people I'm talking about is, one is Tigran Petrosyan, who was known for playing against the King's Indian and always scoring very well. And the second one of the modern era is Vladimir Kramnik, because he also has scored very well against the King's Indian. What's your opinion on that?
Okay, Petrosyan, he was playing this line with d5 usually, and there is a system of his name, the Petrosyan system in King's Indian, with d5 early. And
you mean here, castle, bishop e2,
yeah, bishop e2, e5,
and d5.
d5. I mean, also a huge line, but not the first one you should learn, I think, here. Not the first one you should study, but in few words, Kramnik was responsible for Kasparov giving the opening up completely.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the King's Indian, right? And which I think was a mistake, a big one, because I guess with that opening he could do well in the match, and instead he chose the Nimzo, and with white he was not getting anything at all. And though he was calculating amazingly, but he couldn't unleash his powers, because he was playing Nimzo with black and nothing was white at all. Nimzo with black with problems and nothing was white at all. So he just changed completely his style for not the right person. So and then what? Then he became a slayer in the Nimzo. He was just a slayer, he was just winning the games in most of the lines because he was smashing everyone. He was wall number 2. And then I came on stage and more or less proved that he's not the slayer of King's Indian and it's still alive. So I'm kind of happy about it, because I've played numerous of games against him as well. And in classical, I think I didn't lose many. I don't remember losing to him in class. Maybe one game in candidates, but there I was tilting so hard that in candidates in London.
It was that I think not a King's Indian. Yeah, it was like c5, cd4, and then this queen c7 line and something different.
Yeah. Okay, it was some g3 stuff. Yeah. But I mean, it was some G3 stuff, but still it's a King's Indian. Yeah, let's say I was going for, let's be fair, it's a King's Indian, because C5 is also one of the lines against G3. And in fact, I wanted King's Indian in that game. So, I'm just very happy that I proved to him as well that King's Indian is alive completely. So I'm really proud of this, because Kasparov gave it up because of him, and I came back and I played it a lot against him, and I didn't have this kind of problems. At the same time, when I had to play a match against him in Kazan, I have completely changed my repertoire to the Queen's Gambit. But that was mainly the main reason was that he had a lot of time, like half a year for preparation, and he was sure that I'm going only King's Indian, and the Queen's Gambit would be a great surprise for him. So that was the point. So we found the Queen's Gambit, we found the ideas, we saw how to kind of solve the problems, and we were happy about it. And it was kind of a surprise effect. But would it be longer match? I think I would certainly implement the King's Indian as well.
Brilliant,
So
brilliant.
I think that they're both great players. Certainly, they're both great players. They're world champions, but they were slayers, and okay, Petrosian maybe was solved by other players. Of course, I was not there. I was not there at the time simply, and later I just I think stopped all of the talks about slayers of the King's Indian, and so there are no more slayers of the King's Indian anymore.
You know, on
So
your
that's
on
good.
your Wikipedia page, it is said that Teimour has revived the opening of King's Indian, and a lot of people in the chat were asking why is it written like that. And guys, now you know. Yeah, the reason why Teimour has revived the opening is because at some point Gary Kasparov also had given up that opening, and there came this young boy who actually fought against the best in the world, believing in this system, and it's such a inspiring story. I mean, it just shows Timur's character. He is a fighter. He doesn't give up. He has his own opinions on things, and that's something we should all learn from him. I think it's tremendous.
Thank you, Sagar. Thank you so much. But seriously, I think it gave me a lot of kind of powers or um, a lot of motivation, because really the fact that I remember first time I was kind of shaky to play the King's Indian against Kramnik, and I felt shaky. And once I've played well against him, it was kind of like it's like like they give you this like diploma or whatever in the university, or your master's degree, or I don't know, bachelor's degree, and you get this finally, yeah, after many years of, like, you get this official paper,
Yeah.
before you know that you did everything right, you have a nice nice knowledge and all that stuff. But then when you give it finally to you, you know that okay, you did it, yeah. And then it was like if he unconsciously, of course, like he just gave me this kind of power, like transferred this kind of power to me, that yeah, now it's legit, yeah, now it's legit, this King's Indian again, as he can't beat it. So that was the proof at the time. I remember even the commentator and this, they say, oh, but King's Indian against Kramnik, oh, this will be a suffering or something. And I think it ended, the first game just ended with some draw, like kind of sharp a draw. And so yeah, that was really, I just felt like super proud at the time. It was very nice. It was
Amazing,
very nice. I
amazing.
still remember these moments. Yeah.
And you love Kings Indian so much. I think Harshal Tiwari, who sent a super chat, says it perfectly. He says if Vidit and Anish are drowning and Raja can save only one of them, Raja will let both of them die and save Kings Indian.
No, guys, no. Here, yeah, it's a good joke. It's a good joke, guys. Yeah, it's a good joke. But that would be unfair. That would be unfair. I would save this both guys. I'm ready to give even King's Indian up for these two guys.
Oh wow,
Seriously,
brilliant,
that's
brilliant. What a nice thing.
that's fine. That's.
Okay, to end
I
this
mean, in
show.
case they're
Yeah, yeah.
in case they're drowning only. In case if they're alive and good, no, it's King's Indian, of course.
Yeah.
But if they're drowning, yeah, with a with a very, I don't know what is the word for this, with like with the very hard feelings, I would save them, guys. I
Oh,
would save them.
Vidit is in the chat, and Vidit cannot stop. I think he liked the super chat by. By the way, oh, Abhijit is also in the chat. Abhijit Gupta, and great to have you guys. By the way, we end this stream with this one position which shows somehow what Raja has been talking about. You know, he's been talking about this punching, counter punching, and King's Indian being, strategically unsound opening, and so many things have been spoken about it. But when you believe in it, you can find something special even in simple positions. So Raja, your opponent played Queen B1 here, and
Yeah.
it's your move here. Do you remember this? I think you played really nice couple of moves here.
This one is it against Wang Yu in Vike, or
Absolutely, absolutely. Wang Yu in Vike. And it seems like black is lost in this position because once the knight comes on e4, saying lost is a bit too much, but this bishop will be so bad and the knight will dominate it. It looks strategically very dangerous, but you did
Hmm.
something very special here.
Yeah, and I think that here it was the one of the moments where I was like in really good shape, and I don't remember exactly how I finished the tournament. What was it? Which year was it?
One second.
9 or something?
I'll tell you exactly. It was
9.
in 2009. Yes.
2009, yeah. I think I didn't play bad for sure. I mean, I played good tournament in general, but I think I was exactly in this game. It was like a kind of peak, I guess, because I was playing it fast. I think here I had like around 50 minutes, and he had like 10 or something, 15 or something. So I was just pressing on the clock in this position, even though his play seems to be easier. And here, if I remember correctly, I just took on b1 and played e4 and the stuff, yeah, and a4 just positionally.
Yeah, you played e4 and you just gave up this pawn, and after knight e4, you played check, king
Yeah,
h1, and
e4 and a.
black is a pawn down. Sorry, yeah, pawn down, but you managed to win this game. That's amazing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But the structure here is kind of good for black because it's like in this also, yeah, it's a king's Indian, but also sometimes in Volga when you bring all the rooks to the B and A lines and you attack the pawns there, and it has kind of similarities because here this rook on B8 will be like super strong like in Volga because it's very similar in terms of attacking the B line and attacking on the B line. So the point is that black is just bringing the rook to B8 and B4. And I guess I'm sure with the engines and so on, you can save it. Of course, there will be no problems, I guess, to save it with the engine. But practically, this position is super tricky for white. I mean, all the rooks are just penetrating on the second rank, more or less, after b3. And also the b3 pawn itself will be very weak because I'll just attack it with rook b8 and rook a3. And I think I managed to win an endgame nicely there. I think it was he just started to play some kind of h4, was it, or something
Yeah, yeah.
somewhere?
Well, great,
He didn't know what to do because
great memory.
he lacked. Yeah, he played some h4, something. But I remember I was just winning like by hand. Yeah, just moving my hand and winning the game. I remember this. I was just doing all the moves like naturally, so it was so nice. After the game, I came and I remember I said to my dad that I just want to win games like this, like today, like always. He says, okay, 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 stop your stupid things. Go work chess. Stop this. Stop this talks. I said, okay, it was a nice game. Vidit knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know the story that he told us last time on the stream, not last time, but of one of the
Yeah,
streams
yeah.
about dad, right?
Prize money, and he says to his father, "This is the first prize," and his father says, "Okay, yeah, but
Yes, yes,
how
yes.
does it matter?"
Yeah, how does it matter? Why do you talk about this first prize if you are not going to win this? Yeah. No, but it's very similar to my dad. Yeah, he would tell me like, I don't know, I won this, I found the idea, and so on, and he would say, okay, win with this idea. I want to see first, and then you talk. Nice idea he found in King's Indian. Go win the game and then talk. Yeah, that was similar as well. Yeah, this one I just won. Yeah, he got in a side note. He couldn't control it, and bishop and rook and the king as well. It came just to pick up. You see, I just ate the whole flank
Yeah.
there. A2, b3, c4, d5 was just eaten by my pieces, and without any chance for white. So generally, guys, the point is that I think Sagar wanted to make the kind of King's Indian explanations and stuff, but it really needs, like we were talking actually with him about it, where you can study King's Indian.
Internet issue.
If there is a lag,
Yeah, yeah.
usually
We are back.
you
We are
can
back.
just.
We are back.
Okay, cool, cool.
And yeah, so basically, what Raja and said right now is that if you start playing the King's Indian and you start studying it seriously, you will love it to such an extent at some point that it will become your main weapon. And I want to tell everyone here that if you came here to learn, let's say, lines and stuff like what to play for on move number 12 or move number 14, well, this can happen through books. This can happen through many different ways. But what I actually wanted to do today and really wanted to do was to get you inspired for this opening, and I think that has we were able to do that. Raja's passion for the King's Indian actually shone through. He spoke about this opening so passionately, and I think this is something which is very valuable, guys. You should try to understand all these complexities. Look at the stream again. Listen to him when he spoke about how to attack, how to counter attack, how to never give up in this opening, and I think it will be very very useful for you guys.
But I mean, for the King's Indian Sagar, as you mentioned, um, it's not about the lines here, but in general, I have some ideas in my mind what to make kind of a chess project and something
Ah,
and so on. Have some ideas, and I'm thinking in general to do some kind of the King's Indian, uh, like. In terms of my videos in general, I try to explain it for both amateurs and club players and professionals. But at the same time, I should find kind of way. But I'm close to it. I generally understand how to do it with the lines as well. So I will think how to do this the King's Indian so that you can really make a repertoire out of it.
brilliant.
And I really feel that I can do this. And also we'll go through the lines. I'm also interested to go through the lines in general, through the current series, like just nowadays, just like not even 5 months ago series, which is also relevant, but nowadays series, just the latest one. Yeah, there are no OTB games, but certainly there are games on the internet, and there are correspondence games. Don't forget about it. They didn't stop. So the theory is developing even without us playing a lot of games. So that's also the point. I'm not sure many of your viewers know about the correspondence bases, but they're kind of important for the high level players. So that's why I will think about doing something on the King's Indian and with the lines and with all that stuff. But certainly it takes a lot of hours and a lot of time. So I'll try to do it with the lines as well. And maybe we can also do at some point one of the streams regarding the specific line, let's say, or showing something there.
Sure.
So it would be nice, I guess.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So we will maybe do 500,000, then 1 million, and every time there is a new line. Anyway, it will be faster than you reading the Catronius book, so it's good.
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely. Actually, throughout the stream, people were asking Raja should write a book or Raja should make a DVD, and I think what he said right now answers your questions. I think he will have something coming up very soon. Raja, thank you so much for being here today. I
Thank
couldn't
you
be
so much, Sagar.
more
Thank you. Thank you very
grateful.
much.
400,000 was a special day for us, and I think I am so grateful that we could celebrate it with you. Having you on stream,
Thank
really
you very much.
amazing.
Thank you. It's pleasure. It's pleasure. It's pleasure. I'm so happy that there are so many people watching and so many people subscribing to the channel. And I've told already many times, and happy to repeat it, that I think you are doing a great, great job.
Thank you.
And you are like a very hardworking person that really works for the sake of chess in India, especially. And this is a very good thing.
Thank you
And
so much.
really, like, kudos to you, man. It's just really beautiful.
Thank you,
Great.
and I think, guys, in 1 hour 20 minutes, Raja is going to stream. For me, the Raja streams are biggest stress busters. Great fun, great, great commentary.
Thank
Sometimes
you
a
very
lot
much.
of
Thank you.
lot of trash talking happens, and it's great fun. So, Raja, see you on your stream, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, chat.
Yes,
Bye
bye
bye.
bye.
See you soon.
Bye.